Welcome. I say, my voice steady as it carries through the courtroom. You all may be seated. I wait for the shuffling of chairs to quiet, then glance down at the file in front of me. I recognize the name immediately. I look up and focus my attention on the woman standing before me. Okay, Miss Allen, I say evenly. You're back? And it looks like you brought someone with you today. As she nods and gestures slightly toward the man beside her. Yes, Your Honor. That's King. He's my nephew's father. I lean back slightly in my chair, studying both of them. All right, I say, tell me what's going on. She exhales, clearly ready to unload what she's been holding in. So, Your Honor, I need help. My sister, the mother, is already paying child support, and I feel like it's only fair that the father also pays child support for his child. I nod slowly. And you're saying this is for your nephew? Yes, she replies. There are 2 children in my care, but he's only the father of the 4-year-old. All right, I say, recalling the prior hearing. If I remember correctly, you mentioned before that he was at least somewhat involved. You said he brought school supplies, backpack, crayons, scissors. Yes, Your Honor, she says. He did that, but that's it. He didn't help with school clothes. No shoes, nothing like that. I tilt my head slightly. Have you ever asked him to help with school clothes or to do more? She hesitates. No, so that's a no. I clarify. Yes, she admits. All right. I continue. Then tell me this. How do you know he knew school was starting? She straightens up. Because summer ended. He knows his child is going to pre-K. He knew to bring school supplies, so why wouldn't he think about school clothes too? I pause. That's fair. I say thoughtfully. That's a reasonable assumption. She continues, her frustration bubbling over. We actually have a decent relationship, but he's some to me. He comes when he wants. I glance briefly at the father, then back at her. All right, I say, I'll hear from him in a moment. She nods. That's really it, Your Honor. My sister isn't doing her part. He does his part when he feels like it. And it's just getting old. My nephew deserves more. I fold my hands together. So what you're asking for today is to place him on child support. Yes, absolutely. I look over at the man again. He's shaking his head slightly, clearly surprised. Did you talk to him about this before today? I ask. No, we didn't. I raise my eyebrows because he looks like he had no idea this was coming. Well, she says, I knew my sister was on child support. He knew I filed against her. I think he should have known this was coming. You think he did? I repeat. Yes. All right, I say. Is there anything else you want me to know before I hear from him? No, Your Honor. I turn toward the man. Sir, is King your first name or your last name? Or my first name? He answers. My last name is Jackson. All right, Mr. Jackson, I say. What's going on here? He looks genuinely confused. You tell me, Your Honor. I didn't know why I was coming to court. You were served. I reply. Did you read the paperwork? No. So you came to court without knowing why. I wasn't going to miss court. I nod. I appreciate that. You'd be surprised how many people don't show up. But you're telling me you were completely unaware of why you're here? Yes, ma'am. I'm blind to all of this. I glance down at my notes. You communicate with Miss Allen? Yes. We text. So you weren't inconsistent. I ask. No, ma'am. All right, I say. Tell me about your involvement with your son. I'm an amazing father, he says confidently. But when you get in court, everything sounds different. I raise a hand. Explain what you mean by amazing father. How often do you see him? He apologizes briefly for interrupting earlier, then continues. I pick up my son whenever I can. I work at a bank as a financial advisor, so my schedule isn't flexible, but I still see him. I take him out, buy school supplies, pick him up, drop him off. I stop him. Just to be clear, you only take your son, correct, not the other child in the home. Yes? Just my son. That matters, I say firmly. Because credit is based on the children you support. He nods. Understood. You said you work at a bank. How much do you make? About $60,000 a year. All right. I say, do you buy clothes for him at your home? Less, but not for Miss Allen's home. I can only speak for my household. I nod. How do you feel about being placed on child support today? I think it's a waste of time, he says bluntly. We could have handled this outside of court, but you didn't. I respond calmly. Have you provided financial assistance? Yes. Whenever she asks, I look at Miss Allen. How often do you ask him? I don't like asking, she says. His child has needs. I shouldn't have to beg. She pulls out bills, her voice rising. My electricity bill is $435 a month. I hold up my hand. Stop. The bills are not the issue. She continues anyway. His child lives in my home. I understand that, I say firmly. But child support is not calculated based on your utility bills. I turn back to him. You said you give between $250 to $500. Yes. She shakes her head immediately. That's not true. He sends $20 here, 30 there. I've never received more than 50 at once. I step in. All right, I'm talking now. I look at both of them. It's possible that what you're describing as 250 to 500 is spread out over time. Either way, it's insufficient. I lean back and speak clearly. Here's the bottom line. The law is the law. This is not punishment. Your child lies with his aunt. She is entitled to support, just like the mother would be. I explain health insurance, back pay, and calculations carefully, line by line. Your gross income brings your net to $3,979.47. 20% of that is $796. Add $100 toward back pay, and your total obligation is $896 per month. Oh, he scoffs. That's ridiculous. You're welcome. I respond calmly. Miss Allen speaks softly. Thank you. My nephew thanks you too. I raise my voice slightly. Enough. This court is not for insults. I look at both of them. If you can come to an agreement later, I will consider it. Until then, this is the order of the court. I glance at the father one last time. Any questions, Mr. Jackson? No. All right, I say firmly. Court is dismissed. I tap my pen once against the file as they leave. Another case decided. Another child insured support.